All right, you and I started talking about this project in a bar a number of years ago at the White Horse
He
Tavern.
starts talking about everything in a bar.
The White Horse Bar.
Yep.
As all good ideas originate.
It's
in a bar.
true.
Well, the film didn't originate there, but this conversation originated.
Yes. And so I'm really excited to hear about how everything's come together, especially since I'm in it for half a second. Which is not because I run any shows, but just because of the panel, the Spartacus panel last year. But
You're on the show that lives on in my heart.
That's maybe the best line ever.
I know.
That's awesome. But talk about how this all started outside of the bar.
Oh, me? Really? Okay. It started because I'm a complete TV nerd, in all honesty. Obsessed with particularly American TV drama and comedy. Grown up on it my whole life. I come from Dublin, Ireland, so back in the day, Irish television couldn't really afford to make its own programming, so they were just importing stuff all the time, so I was brainwashed by the A-Team, Star Trek, Knight Rider, all that stuff. And then I got into filmmaking myself over there. I worked as a cameraman, kind of worked my way up through the ranks over there because I was always kind of fascinated with what was going on behind the scenes and how things got made. And I'd be the guy buying all the DVDs because you watch all the extras to see how everything happens. And I was always curious about what was going on behind the scenes in TV over here. And over the last, 10 to 12 years, I guess, that information has kind of slowly been making its way out into the world and then becoming more and more and more and more as the internet and social media kind of risen around the guys. And I just read voraciously everything I possibly could, and I was like, this is fascinating, these guys are amazing, how can anyone do this job? And I kind of waited for somebody to make the documentary about them, and no one did, so I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
For myself, it's just a similar story, just growing up on a very healthy diet of American television and being, I'd say, the first one I truly remember that had like a major impact on it, Des probably echo this, is the X-Files and Twin Peaks. Seeing the names change in the beginning, the credits sequence at the beginning of the show, like, where's that guy go? He's not there this season. What's happened to him? I was very curious about what happened to, or who's writing it and the kind of dynamic behind it. And you never find anything written about these people that made the show that obviously, created this thing that you love. And Hart Hansen, in the film, it has this moment where he basically, to some extent, explains like 99% of the audience has no idea. They think that the actors are just, how do they come up with this stuff? And it's there are people that create this thing, and I want to know who they were always. It's just books, like in the literary world, the writers get all the credit, in the film world, the directors get probably a vast amount of the credit, and in the television world, it's a melange of the two to some extent, because it's a constantly moving, evolving piece of art that continues to be worked on and meticulously crafted to match the audience, and the needs and the wants and the demands of an audience. So it's being a fan first, like Des. That's really what any good, I think, documentary starts, is like curiosity, and then.
Yeah, I think you can feel the love. Yeah. I hope you can feel the love. Anyway,
I feel the love.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's very hard for us not to, geek out when we get to meet in making this.
Yeah.
Meet people like Ron Z. Moore and Joss and JJ and Damon. God, we're very spoiled. We're spoiled for choice in the television we watch. We're spoiled for access to the people who created it, and it's wonderful. It's nothing like I think either of us had ever dreamed we could have been able to accomplish.
Well, I know some of the stories about getting through to some of these showrunners because I was sort of there for a little bit of it, but tell me some of the crazier ones.
We discussed one at the Comic-Con panel in
yeah.
July. That's a pretty crazy one.
Yeah, I mean,
one of my favorites.
Joss Whedon was like on the wish list from kind of day one, and we spent a lot of time trying to go through the appropriate channels to reach, and that really wasn't working for us.
Never be appropriate.
Never be appropriate. So by pure chance, myself and Ryan we were at the Fringe offices one day taking a meeting with people from Bad Robot, and when we walked out of the building, Joss Whedon was standing in front of us talking to someone in a parking lot, and we were like, okay, this is karma. This is absolutely meant to be. So
he drives a Prius.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. So we literally waited for him to be finished this conversation. We started walking away and we started chasing him down, like, just stop. In weird Irish accents.
And while he's having his chat with him, we're kind of standing like, should we do? Can I come up with a game plan? Or you start? No, you start. What are we going to say? And I think we led in with like, hey, Jane Espenson said,
I mean, we knew we had about like maybe 15 seconds to kind of grab his attention and whatever.
Steve, Jane, everyone he's ever worked with in previous shows and tried to hope to keep his attention longer. And Gene said, talk to my sister.
In fairness, I mean, like at the end of our pitch, he kind of turned around and said, there's a couple of things I'd like to say about showrunning.
And he's so genuinely interested in it.
And like I have to say a huge thank you to him as well, because like the day we actually filmed the interview with him was the Monday after the Avengers opened.
Oh wow!
And that was the beginning of his first vacation for 2.5 years.
Shot at his house
and he gave us time that morning. So
wow,
we're very grateful.
So he really is,
despite the construction outside, but that wasn't your fault. We understand.
He is the king of the geeks.
Yes,
it's true.
Yes.
So so who have you remained close with?
There's a lot of people who have been very generous. I mean, they've really kind of supported us through the long haul. Damon's been great. Hart, Steve, Jane, Bill Prady has been great with us. I mean, we Mr. O'Mara,
Jason O'Mara,
you,
as I live and breathe.
You feel free to come right in here. I've interviewed you before.
How are you?
I'm good.
Nice to see you. We were in the tiki room yesterday.
How wide is that lens?
If you come in here, I can get you in the camera.
Well, Mr. Jason O'Mara is in the film as well. So.
All right.
A brief appearance.
Yes.
Well, you can tell me about your brief appearance.
It wasn't too far from here.
It wasn't too far from here. We shot it on a rooftop. It's cool. It's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a couple of years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a year and a half ago.
We pissed off some of the locals.
Yes, we did.
There was cheeky with us.
Yeah, there was a guy, a tenant.
They weren't happy with us filming on the rooftop.
We asked them to turn the music down just a little bit so that we could actually hear ourselves.
How dare you?
Anyway.
And he flipped out. Like he what did he do? Did he
was
something?
he was threatening to like talk to the manager.
But he started kicking chairs around.
Yeah,
and
he was.
He started throwing chairs around.
Yeah, he was up there with his like half his age young bride, like I don't know, like 20, I don't know.
And half a dog as well.
Half a dog.
Half a dog?
But if you're watching, we have dedicated the film to you.
Well then.
Yeah.
All right.
The end roll is just, there's an Easter egg of you just kicking chairs over. Being a complete muppet. That's right.
Please tell me that's true. Because I would love to watch that.
Exactly. It's actually one of the second disc animated menu. It's just him kicking shit over.
That's awesome. All right, so final question.
Am I swearing too much?
And I don't know if you already answered this, but what was the weirdest thing that happened during shooting?
What was the weirdest thing that happened during shooting?
I was on the shooting for 1 hour.
There were a couple of weird things. We had a tough day. I don't want to mention what the show is, but we had a tough day where we showed up once and they forgot to tell us that there was no electricity anywhere.
Oh.
And we couldn't power anything. We couldn't power batteries or sound recording gear or everything, which led to quite a frenetic hunt for options for what we could possibly do.
To be fair, they film on location. So
yes, it is. But it's a permanent location.
Yes, not too far.
And not too.
I'm dying to know what show this is.
Yeah, let's not go any further than that. But we did solve it and we did shoot it, and everything kind of worked out. But yeah,
some creative engineering,
moments like that can shorten your life a little bit, because we only had the person for 45 minutes, I think, originally. So panic stations can kick in a little bit. But yeah, he's in the film though.
I'm going to be trying to figure this out. I'm going to watch the show the film over and over again. So, well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.